Hello, everyone, and I'm back after a brief hiatus. I was rolling out M365 Copilot in one of the companies, and this series is all about it. We will see how to technically go about assigning those licenses, how to create those AD groups, and so on and so forth. Also, the most important aspect of change management, because I believe that is the key for M365 Copilot success within your organization. How to keep people motivated enough to use this product, how to help them with their prompts, and so on and so forth. We will also look into reporting, which I believe Microsoft should have done a better job consolidating all those reports. As of now, it is all over the place in Office 365 tenancy, how to consolidate those reports, and also how to customize them in case your company or senior management would like to have the report not based upon the divisions, but subdivisions or countries and sub-departments and so on and so forth, or even job profile, for example. How to customize those reports, how to get that data into your own Power BI template. Adjacent to the reporting, how to also go about revoking the license, because chances are you will not going to buy all the license for all the employees. You're not going to buy 20,000 licenses. There would be just a bucket of 5,000 licenses that you have. So how to identify who these key users would be, who would initially get these licenses, and if they're not using them, how to identify the users who are not using it and take those licenses away so that you can give it to someone. So that is all part of the first series. In the second series, we'll do some more developmenty kind of a work, create our own extensions. That's where the real technical fun is. So let's get started. So the first thing first, the licenses. The license for Copilot 365 is this guy, Microsoft 365 Copilot. And the way you would assign it is either you assign it directly to the user or you create an AD group and then assign that AD group the license of Copilot 365. This way of assigning licenses to an AD group and then then adding the users into that AD group is basically called volume licensing. I go to the licenses detail page. I type in my AD group, and then it's as simple as assigning the license and then adding those users to the AD group. Chances are that you would like to go with some good nomenclature on how licenses group are being named. And honestly, if you are doing a serious implementation, this is rather the only way to do it. Assigning the licenses directly to the users is a big no-no because again, it's always better to have a bucket on which you can query, you can check, you can add and remove fairly easily on who gets the license or not. There are a few SKUs that you need to be aware of within that license, and depending upon what you check and uncheck, different Copilot experience will surface to your end users. So before I go, a bit of rant here. I I cannot understand why Microsoft has not created one good MSDN page explaining all the functionality that surfaces with each of these service descriptions. I have no idea. I mean, this is notoriously difficult to figure out exactly what all functionality surfaces. So my crib about it. So Microsoft, if somebody's listening, please have a detailed page for it. But here is my understanding. So Copilot Studio in Copilot for M365, if you would like your end users to be able to author some agents, I guess, with the help of Copilot Studio while they are interacting with Copilot 365, think about, the teams and then you have agents, then that is the SKU. In my case, most of the time I went this button unchecked because I do not know exactly what it means. What is the governance aspect of it? So that's it. Graph connectors. If you would like third-party applications to be enabled within Graph, you make a connection and then surfaced in 365 Copilot. I usually keep it open. If there is anything in Graph anyway, then why not show it to Copilot also? Because the users are consuming that data through other Office 365 apps. Intelligent search is again querying the Office 365 ecosystem and then showing you the answers. Copilot for SharePoint. This one is tricky. The ability for Copilot to do OneDrive is controlled by this service description, but it will also enable two functionalities. A, SharePoint agent. So that means anyone who has the license can create a new bot within your SharePoint sites, and horrors or horrors. They can also share that bot in their teams and in their emails and so on and so forth. Secondly, People can also start using Copilot to create a new SharePoint sites. If you have your own SharePoint provisioning infrastructure, which most of the big companies do for governance reasons, what happens over there? So I also go with this disabled, and unless and until I have been told by senior management to enable it. It's quite a governance issues over there, and the story is not yet clear as to me. Would you like to have Copilot to summarize team meetings and do the team's razzmatazz? Would you like to have Copilot in productivity apps? So I usually go with these two enabled. Graph grounded chat. Would you like Copilot to again ground the responses, run it through graph, ground the response in that data, and then show it to you? Of course, we will. And then Power Platform connectors. Can the while from 365 Copilot, can the end users author their flows and so on and so forth in Power Platforms? So usually again a governance issue. So in my case, I would disable these ones. So I would disable Copilot Studio. I would disable Microsoft 365 Copilot for SharePoint and Power Platform connectors. So these three I would be discussing disabling. So assigning the license is pretty easy, isn't it? Except for one important case. And the case is that you'll always have lesser license than the total amount of users because management maybe is not comfortable buying all the users, 15,000 users, all the licenses because of the cost. Imagine a case you only have 2,000 licenses and they have already been provided to end users. You have added them to the AD group, all these users, right? And now you have, I don't know, 100 more people who are asking for these licenses in a course of 1 week. And it's but natural that you would like to give the person who asked for the license on Monday first the license, then the people who asked for it Friday. Now, the catch is that if you add all these people in one go, or even let's say you have already consumed 20,000 licenses, right? And then you keep on adding more people as they request the license, they will not be getting the license, right? Because you don't have that many. Imagine a process where you start removing existing licenses so that these new people will get the license. There is no chance, there is no guarantee that the person who was added to this group, AD group first, will get the license first, and the one who was added on Friday will get it. And that's the problem. And this is coming because of the way licenses work within within AD group. It's completely random, you cannot control it, right? And I haven't seen it though, but Microsoft documentation says that if we do this, for example, you have 2,000 licenses, you have added 2,000 people, and now you add 1,000 more, Microsoft might remove existing people's license and add those to the new ones. Again, I haven't seen it, I couldn't reproduce it, but that's what the documentation says. And that's where we have to be extra cautious of how many people we are adding and how we are adding it. How you are going to remove the people, the process of revoking, we will check up in our, I believe, second or third video series. So keep on watching, but be very cautious about this point.